What is up, YouTube? BK, Brad Kellner, a little after 5 o'clock on Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Tuesday, August 15th, 20 and 23. Doing a little Longhorn chat, but more than that, an AMA. Ask me anything. I have no scripts. I don't really have any set topic that I want to talk about or need to talk about during this hour. I just figured I'd BS with y'all for an hour. Hopefully, you guys are having a good Tuesday. Maybe some of you are stuck in traffic. I'm going to try to help you get through your traffic. Hopefully, you guys are tuned in, and hopefully, y'all have some questions ready to roll wherever you are, however you may be listening. We appreciate you listening today. And yeah, thank you guys. It's been a fun week and a half of Texas Sports Unfiltered. Bucky and BK every weekday morning from 8 to 10. Trey and BK from 12 to 1. We had a special extra hour during the midday today. Kevin joined Trey for an hour, and those guys, man, whenever they're together, Lord knows what they're going to get into. And they touched on all sorts of things from 1 to 2. If you missed any of those shows today, you can find them on the YouTube channel, also in podcast form on Spotify and Apple Music. Doing a little bit more beta testing for the app. I know I've teased it for like a week now, but we are almost done. We are very close to officially launching the Texas Sports Unfiltered app, which will be completely free, which will allow you to listen live to all of our shows, wherever you may be and whenever you want. So really, really excited about that. A few other exciting announcements coming your way. I'm telling you guys, we have a lot cooking for the future of Texas Sports Unfiltered. So appreciate you guys for getting in on the ground floor. And man, we've got big plans for this channel. We really want to make this thing grow as much as possible. We honestly want to take this thing to the top. So it's been fun getting to work with Bucky. Been fun getting to work with Trey. Been fun getting to work with Kevin. We'll get Wags on a couple of videos later this week, talk some fantasy football and a little bit more than just that. And a few more additions coming to the lineup in the not too distant future. So I promise we are going to come through on all of these teases, but it's exciting. I wish I could tell y'all more, but I think you guys are going to like some of the big things that we have planned for Texas Sports Unfiltered. So thank you guys for subscribing. We're already at nearly 4,000 subscribers at this point, man. It really has been awesome seeing all of the love and support that we've gotten to this point. And I mentioned it a lot. We'll continue to mention it. A big giveaway when we get to 5,000 subs, and it won't just be giveaway singular. It'll be giveaways plural. And we're going to be giving away a bunch of stuff to a bunch of you once we hit 5K subscribers. So tell a friend, tell a friend, to tell a friend. We're almost at 4,000 right now. I think when I last checked, we were a little bit over 3,900. So look, we'll get to 5,000 as quickly as you guys get us there. Honestly, we're going to continue to promote the hell out of this thing on all of our social media accounts, but we need y'all's help to get this thing to 5,000. And obviously, the quicker we get there, the quicker you guys will have a chance to cash in on some of the great prizes that will be given away. So we're talking about gift cards. We're talking about sunglasses. We're talking about apparel. We're talking about potential golf trips. I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of fun stuff. More than what you can just win on a radio station. We want to take care of you guys for being with us throughout this entire thing. So definitely spread the word. Once again, the quicker we get to 5K, obviously the quicker we can give all of that stuff away. Take my shoes off, man. It's been a day. It has been a day. But excited about this. Also excited to get back up to Austin. Friday is moving day. I think I've mentioned that on one or a couple of the shows to this point. But moving back up to Austin Friday, I'll be in South Austin near the Oak Hill area. And we'll have to get some sort of Texas Sports Unfiltered get together in the not too distant future once I'm back in the ATX. But super, super pumped to get back to the 512. That's home for me, man. I loved it when I lived there. Obviously, went to the University of Texas and worked there for 5 years out of school. I loved it, but I didn't realize how much I loved it until I left. So no slight to Houston. I've really, really enjoyed my time down here, but man, I'm stoked. That is the understatement of all understatements. I am stoked to get back to Austin for So many different reasons. Oh my God. The weather's not one of them. Although, look, I barely sweat in Austin anymore, guys. Like Houston is so humid and gross all of the time, especially in the summertime, that like when I go up to Austin, even when it's 100 degrees, I like barely break a sweat. It's the greatest thing ever. Like living down here, if you ever get tired of the Austin heat and you think it can't get worse than this, come spend a couple of weeks in Houston, be miserable, go back up to Austin, and you'll find a new appreciation for non-humid heat. The dry heat, I'm telling you, man, it is different. It is better, believe it or not. You might check your phone and see that it's a little bit hotter temperature wise in Austin, but it feels like down here in Houston is brutal. So I'm excited to just not have to start sweating as soon as I walk out the front door to my house. I mean, it's ridiculous. I've got like a 5-step walk from my front door to the door of my car, and I'm soaked. Like I'd carry a change of clothes with me in my car everywhere I go. It is that bad. It is absolutely insane. So excited slightly about the weather change, but more excited about just everything that Austin brings to the table, and really pumped to just get back closer to you guys. I know we've got viewers from Houston and viewers from DFW and San Antonio and all over the state and all over the country and hell, all over the world. But most of you guys obviously are in Austin, Texas. So looking forward to seeing you guys. And yeah, ask me anything. Appreciate it, Bob. Thank you very much for sharing Texas sports unfiltered. We've gotten great feedback, and look, we want to make this thing about you guys. I mean, obviously, Bucky, Kevin, Trey, Wags, and I are having a great time doing this, and we love working with each other. Hell, we love each other. We're all best friends, and it's super exciting to get to work together again, and obviously get to hang out a lot more moving forward. But we want this to be about you guys too. So whatever feedback you can provide, please let us know, because yeah, we want to give you a nice alternative to the radio. It's as simple as that. There's a ton of red tape and a ton of hoops to jump through for us personally as the hosts, but also for you guys, man. We don't do 5 to 6 minute commercial breaks here. We don't do random ass. I know I just talked about the weather for a few minutes. We don't do random ass updates about the weather. We don't talk about the traffic. No, like we're not wasting your time with that type of stuff. We're just having fun, real, unfiltered conversation about the Longhorns, about the Cowboys, about the Texans, about everything. And if you've already watched any of our videos, I think you know kind of what we bring to the table. But we want to make this as enjoyable of an experience for you guys as we possibly can. So, yeah, maybe a Pluckers meetup or two. I'll give you guys some behind the scenes secrets about what we have cooking. We've got we're working on a pregame show. We're gonna have a pregame and a postgame show before and after every Longhorn game. That goes without saying. The question is where we're going to be for those shows, and we are in contact with a number of different places. Some that we've been to before, some that you guys know very well, some that are very close to DKR, some that are all of the above. So we've got a few things cooking for those pre and post game shows. We want to be out amongst the people, man. I don't want this to just be us all broadcasting from our apartments or houses over the next few years. No, we want to be with you guys. We're going to do the remote broadcast, and we're going to make it easy for you guys, not only to consume our content on your phone or on the internet or on the app, which is coming very, very soon, but also in person as well, man. Like we're serious about you guys being a huge, huge part of this thing. And hell, even if the other guys can't come with me, I'm going to be out and about amongst the city, and I'll always be telling you guys where I'm going to be by you in Altstad for your support here. So we'll get those remote broadcasts coming, and it won't just be for pre and post game. We are going to do some remote shows throughout the week. Bucky and BK, Trey and BK. We'll get Kevin in on some of those as well. God, I wish I could tell you guys about the lineup additions that we're making here, but you'll know in time. The hope is by next week we will be able to tell you guys exactly what we have cooking in terms of a new show and potentially a couple of new shows coming to Texas Sports Unfiltered. So you're not going to get stuck with me on every single broadcast that we do. I know that's what we've had pretty much to this point, but you're going to get more of your favorite Austin media personalities here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. So I was pumped with just the guys we started with, but when we tell you guys about the new additions that we're making to this lineup, oh man, I think you guys are going to be just as excited as I am for sure. Good afternoon from Fort Worth. There you go. Fort Worth, Texas, Bevo. I like that name. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you're doing all right in horny toad country. I'm sure TCU fans are on cloud nine after what happened last year. How could you not be? I mean, I'd be talking shit too if my team went undefeated in the regular season, beat Michigan in a playoff game, and made it all the way to the national title. I know things didn't work out for TCU in that game against Georgia, and that's an understatement. But hell, any Texas fan I think would sign up for that. And it's as I kick over my water bottle, frustrating, man. Like tip of the cap to Sonny Dykes for the job that he did in year one. But any Texas fan, I'm sure, is like me. We're incredibly frustrated with the fact that we've brought in what feels like 10 new head coaches over the last 10 years, and we can't get our stuff together in 12 years, right? We can't find a coach who in 3 years can find a way to turn a program around. And TCU, after moving on from Gary Patterson, the first year of a new guy, they find their way to the national championship game. Quite unfortunate from our perspective. Good for them. But my God, hopefully we're talking about Texas in a college football playoff at some point in the not too distant future. And yeah, that would be nice. Live from Tuscaloosa, September 9th. That's a great question, CB. I am hoping I am there. I don't think Bucky is going to make the trip. I don't think Kevin or Trey are going to make the trip as well. Maybe we could find a way to get those guys going on some pre and post game stuff and get me to check in there. I haven't bought tickets. I haven't bought flights. I'm in conversations with a few buddies about getting the ball moving on that deal. But man, it'd be a ton of fun. I couldn't go to the game last year, which sucked. I came down with COVID, and yeah, I was really sick. It wasn't one of those like symptom free COVIDs. It was the first and only time I actually got COVID, and I was hurting, man. I was not going to make it in 110-degree heat dealing with DKR on a game day. Call me soft if you want, but I wasn't going to do that. It would have been a miserable experience, and obviously the way that game ended would have made it more miserable for me. That would have sucked. So hopefully I could be a part of the return trip. I'm still mad. You guys know I'm still mad about Texas not being able to play LSU in the return game there in 2020 because COVID shut that thing down. Feel good about the Longhorns' chances, man. I really do. I really do. Not as good as I felt about Texas going to Death Valley against LSU in 2020 because I knew that LSU team was going to be bad. I didn't think they'd be that bad. I don't think anybody thought they'd be that bad, but just based on what they lost from that national championship team in 2019, there's reason to believe that they were going to take a pretty significant step back, and sure enough, they did, and that would have been a win for the Longhorns. I am 100% convinced about that. I would have told you that before the season happened. I'll tell you that right now, that Texas would have beaten LSU in Death Valley if they got the opportunity, but, we can't have nice things. We can't have nice things. It's the worst. TSU all day. Thank you, Javier. Yeah, man, keep spreading the word. Keep spreading the word. We're not going anywhere. Thought that this is a flash in the pan, this is a fly-by-night kind of deal. F that. We plan on being around for a long, long time. And we want to bring you guys great content all of the time on this channel. So appreciate that. Make sure you tell your friends about what we've got going on. Will there be a chat line on the app? That's a great question, Troy. We've looked into it a little bit, haven't quite found what we want in terms of like a text line type of setup. Obviously, we've got the YouTube chat rolling right now, which is good. You can comment in real time, and we obviously reply to as many of these as we can in real time. You could tweet at us whenever you want. You see all of our Twitter handles on the background, wallpaper, whatever I'm supposed to call this, in every single video. So right now it's a solo video. You just see my stuff on the top left part of your screen, but you could tweet at us. You could DM. We're checking that constantly during the show. So that for now is serving sort of as an alternative text line / chat line. There won't be one specifically in the app, but we're working on maybe getting a phone number that you guys can text to get in contact with the show. Because once again, we want you guys to be a huge part of the show. Bring back the Blitz. Yeah, I don't know. The phone capabilities is going to be tough, right? I don't know if we can actually get a hotline on this thing. I need to do some more research on that. What we can potentially do, boy, this could open up a can of worms right here. This would make Pandora's box look like nothing. We can maybe find a way that if you guys have access to a webcam and a mic, where we just patch you in for some sort of Blitz style segment, maybe once a week, maybe every day. but not only will your voices be heard, but you mullets will have your faces be seen by everybody if that's something you want to do. And yes, it would be an unfiltered blitz if we did it like that. So obviously a little bit more complicated for all of us to make that deal happen, but we are looking into ways to make the blitz a possibility because that was obviously a huge part of the station that we used to work at, and we know you guys really enjoyed that. So that is the hope to find a way to get you guys actually on this channel, not just with the comments showing up on the screen, but y'all's voices and God forbid y'all's faces on the screen. That's a scary thought. I mean, I know I got a face for radio, but some of you people out there, yeah, you people, I don't know. Zay and Hardball sworn to secrecy. I'm sworn to secrecy. I can't say anything, but that's some of the feedback we're looking for as well. If there are more voices that you want heard on this channel, let me know. Seriously. I mean, I've been working the phones trying to get as many of your favorite Austin media possibility or personalities as we possibly can. Zay and Hardball, can't say anything yet, but just keep those comments coming, man. I want your feedback, and seeing that comment right there tells me that I've made some phone calls that I'm happy I've made in the past couple of days and weeks. What else, guys? What else, guys? Oh yeah, CB. Actually, that was one of the best moments of my professional career. Was getting to hear CB's voice on a Twitter Spaces after a Texas basketball game last year. The machine himself, CB, actually popped on and asked a question. I thought I was getting punked, man. I was waiting for Ashton Kutcher to come out and say something, but no, the real CB. Got to hear from him. Maybe we'll find a way to make that one happen too. Ask me anything, guys. I am an open book right now. Talk about the channel, talk about the Longhorns, Cowboys, whatever y'all want to talk about. My house is a wreck right now, man. Just boxes and trash bags full of shit everywhere, everywhere. Moving sucks. Oh my god, I've got commitment issues, man. I think you guys know that with the lack of significant other that I have in my life, and the lack of significant other that I've basically had throughout the entirety of my life. But it's the same thing with places of living too. Like when I lived in Austin the first time, I lived there for 9 years and I did not re sign a single lease. I literally lived in 9 different places in my 9 years in Austin. Like that's absurd, man. Something is wrong with me. Oh, there's a lot wrong with me, but like that, there's some sort of deep rooted issue there that for some reason as much as I say I hate moving, and I do hate moving, I don't know anybody in the world who likes the process of moving. I just somehow, some way find myself doing it every single year. So I actually did live at the same house in Houston for the 2 years that I was here, and it's a super nice house. I had no reason to even consider moving. I had a great living situation down here. That's honestly going to be a little tough to give up. But my hope is the place that I'm moving into, I can at least stay at for a couple of years because it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous how often I move. Oh my god. Insane. Moving sucks. Moving sucks. Yeah, good call. I will I'm going to have some conversations with these guys. Hopefully we'll get them on some of the shows, but definitely going to record some videos with other Texas YouTubers. Man, we're family on YouTube. We I love Steven from Fanatic Perspective. I don't know Texas Homer's name, but we've talked a few times and I love the work that he puts out. If you haven't checked out their videos, either of their videos, make sure you do so and subscribe to their channels as well because those guys are putting out phenomenal content all of the time, talking all things Longhorns. But yeah, I need to reach out to them. I've reached out to a couple of national college football analysts about getting them on before the season. I also plan on doing sort of an around the Big 12 preview for this season. And maybe not the entire Big 12. I might just keep it to the teams that are on the Longhorn schedule this year. So I won't waste y'all's time with a West Virginia beat writer or a Central Florida beat writer since Texas doesn't play those teams. But all the Big 12 teams on the Longhorn schedule. I try to get an Alabama guest. We'll definitely have a few Alabama guests on the week leading up to that Texas-Bama game on September 9th. But before the season, might do some conversations with YouTubers from around the Big 12 just to kind of for me, but also for all of us, just to give us a pulse on what to expect from Texas's schedule in 2023. But yeah, we'll definitely get those two guys on. Yeah, big fan of both of them. Oh man, Fancy and Rocky would be great ads. Yeah, I need to talk to them too. Love their podcast. Love the work that they do. I need to reach out to them for sure when I get back to Austin. Make sure you subscribe to what they've got going on too. Let's see. Cowboys question: will Dak make it past Game 3? God, I hope so. Is that an injury question, Javier? I know Cooper Rush has done some good things the last couple of years when filling in for Dak Prescott, but if Dak doesn't make it past Game 3, then you can cancel Christmas because the Cowboys season is over. Now, if it's a 2-week injury, 3-week injury, whatever, Cooper Rush can man the fort, maybe win a game or two. Hell, he was undefeated the last time he had to step in for Dak. But if it's something serious that causes number 4 to miss the entirety of the season, I'm gonna knock on wood. I don't even like you commenting that. I don't even like me talking about this. Yes, he makes it past week 3 of the NFL season. Yeah, can we play the Heat card and convince Fox to move the Rice game to 7? God bless everybody who's going to be at DKR on September 2nd, man. I won't be there. We'll do a pregame show. We'll do a postgame show. We might be out amongst the people, so we might be outside for some of it, but shoot, that's God bless you. The good news is the rule changes coming to college football should speed up the games a little bit. I don't think it's going to have an MLB pitch clock type of effect on college football, but the fact that the clock's not going to stop after every first down, which I have been clamoring for years. My God, it's about time somebody listens to me. People should listen to me more often. That will hopefully speed things up a little bit, but it's not going to change the weather. It's not going to change the fact that it's going to be miserable for the 90,000 plus who are in the stands at DKR. And if you are, hey, God bless you. We need people out there. Thank you for taking one for the team and showing your support to the Longhorns. But I will be at a bar or on a couch or just somewhere with air conditioning so I don't have to deal with that misery. My God. My God. Am I going to have Justin Wells or Joe Cook on? I hope so. You know, those guys, they're obviously at Inside Texas and they've got their On Texas football deal and they've got a YouTube channel as well. So they might be obligated to just do appearances on that channel. I hope that's not the case because I'm a big fan of Justin. He used to join Trey and I's show for years. Same thing with Joe. Hell, Joe and I did a podcast together for a couple of years, the One and O podcast. By the way, Joe just got married this past weekend. I don't know if he wants people knowing that, but now you do. You're welcome. It's the behind the scenes access that you came here for, I'm sure, to find out who on the Texas beat was tying the knot. But hopefully, I can get those guys on Texas Sports Unfiltered at some point in the not too distant future. Hell, hopefully not just once. Hopefully a number of times because those guys are two of my favorite people on the beat, and I know you guys enjoy their work too. Let's see. Am I going to get Craig? Yeah, Craig Way will be a guest from time to time. He obviously has his commitment with Learfield and with the Longhorns, which that's not going to change, and I don't think anybody wants that to change. Craig won't be a regular on Texas Sports Unfiltered, unfortunately. I would love it if he was, but y'all know his schedule, man. That guy's all over the place all of the time. But we will definitely make sure to have Craig on, hopefully a couple of times during football season to chop it up with him. Appreciate that, Des. Thank you for those kind words. I'm gonna miss H Town as well, man. This city's been really good to me, honestly. I liked it way more than I thought I would. I was a little bit nervous making the move down here. Kid who grew up in Dallas. I was like supposed to hate Houston, and I wasn't sure what my experience down here was going to be, but man, it was fantastic. Everybody down here was awesome. I loved it here. The food scene down here, that's going to be tough to give up. My God. Look, the Austin food scene has picked up in recent years, and there's plenty of great restaurants up in the ATX that I'm excited to go check out again, and some new ones that weren't there when I last lived there that I'm excited to try. But come on, if you know, you know, the food scene in ATX can't hold a candle to what we have down here in Houston. It's just ridiculous how many great options there are. So I will definitely miss that, and a few other elements about H Town too. How are the defenses going to defend the Texas receivers? Yeah, that is a question that I don't know the answer to, and I'm hoping defensive coordinators on Texas's schedule also don't know the answer to. This wide receiver room is one of the best in college football. I got my Phil Steele magazine in front of me, the Bible. I'm going to see where he has, because he ranks every position group in college football. I know he has the Texas wide receiver room as the number one wide receiver room in the Big 12, which that's a given. Should go without saying. Wide receivers. All right, Phil Steele has Texas number 5 in the country in terms of wide receiver rooms going into 2023. Ohio State number 1. Yeah, I mean, they've got Marvin Harrison Jr., the best receiver in the country. Guy would have been a top 5 pick in the NFL draft this year if he was eligible. They got Ibuka as well. He's a beast. Julian Fleming, another 5-star. That Ohio State should be number 1 every year. Like, they are wide receiver U, if that is a thing. Washington, number 2. We saw their 2 top guys in the Alamo Bowl last year. Both of them are back. Hell, their top 5 receivers from last year are back. No complaints there. USC, number 3. Georgia, number 4. And they're including tight end. So they're including Brock Bowers, who's without question the best tight end in the country. I would probably put Texas ahead of Georgia just for wide receivers, not in anything else. I'm not an idiot. Nobody should be putting any team ahead of Georgia this year, with just how ridiculously good they are right now as a program. But I'd maybe flip-flop Texas and Georgia for wide receiver. But Texas is number 5. And like that's about as low as I would go, especially if you're throwing Jatavion Sanders in there too. Because my hope is by the end of this year, Jatavion Sanders is the second best tight end in the country. He's already in that conversation right now. But like the production, I want it to be, I don't think he's going to be Brock Bowers. I don't think anybody's Brock Bowers. Speaking of guys that would have been first round picks if they were eligible this past year. But Jatavion Sanders, if he can be the second best tight end in the country, and he's got the physical tools, he's got the skill set to make that happen. And he obviously showed us a lot of good last year. Then watch out, man. It's going to be tough to defend this wide receiver group. Knock on wood that they can stay healthy. But my God, with Xavier Worthy and Jordan Whittington and A.D. Mitchell and Isaiah Nayor and Jonte Cook, plus Jatavion Sanders, like all of those guys would start on like 90+% of teams in the country. And they're all going to play at Texas, but obviously you don't have 5 receivers and a tight end on the field at all times. That's impossible. So it's going to be fun to watch how Steve Sarkisian deploys his weaponry on the outside, because that's what these guys are, man. These are weapons, and this is the most weaponry a Texas offense has had at the skill positions. And I don't even know how long, man. I really don't. Like this, I can't tell you the last time I've been this excited about a pass catching group at the University of Texas, man. Like, it's crazy. The top end talent, the depth, the experience. Like there aren't question marks too, where it's like, this guy was a highly touted recruit. I get that with Jonte Cook. He's a true freshman. But Xavier Worthy has a 1,000-yard season under his belt. Isaiah Nayor has a 1,000-yard season under his belt. A.D. Mitchell has 2 national championships under his belt and a couple of productive seasons in the SEC. Jordan Whittington has, I don't know if Jay Witt's gone over 1,000 yet, but obviously he's been a big part of this offense for multiple years now. Like, it's not like, oh, well, if these guys do this, then that. No, like we know what these guys are capable of. We know they're going to do it. So that's not a question mark. There are some question marks on this team where we've got to be in wait and see mode to find out exactly what things are going to look like. But wide receiver, nah, we're good. We're good there. Even Jatavion Sanders, I expect him to take a step this year from where he was last year, but I saw enough from him in 2022 to where I can say we're good there also. So it's going to be fun. The creativity that Steve Sarkisian brings to the table with all of that talent. Oh, man, if Quinn Ewers is right and he lives up to his billing, 40 points per game. That should be the expectation, 40 points per game. We're very close to it. Texas was around 35 last year. Obviously, they got over that 40 mark a couple of different times, but I'm talking season-long average of 40 points per game. That's what we're looking for. All right. Oh, How about this? A show from left field during baseball season. Oh man, you talk about unfiltered. That's unfiltered, uncensored, unhinged, on everything. If we're out there with the crew in left field, love those guys out at Occupy Left Field. I'll definitely be there for a couple of games next season. Got to work on finding a way to do a broadcast there during a game. Shoot, that'd be a ton of fun. What else? Yes, incomplete passes will stop the clock. What was my favorite eatery in Houston? Oh man, Des, that's an impossible question to answer. Favorite restaurant in Houston? I'm thinking about it. Really, I mean, I'll try to come up with a top five list before I get out of here. But even that is going to be difficult. There's no way I can just pick one. Like I've been trying to hit as many of my favorite restaurants as possible over the last couple of weeks, just because I know I won't get to have them as often as I have the last 2 years. I'll work on that. I will work on that. Any updates on Colton Vosic's progress? Yeah, hearing really, really good things. It kind of feels like the two edge positions are locked down right now by Baron Sorrell and Ethan Burke. Ethan Burke has taken a big, big step over the course of the offseason. I mean, I think every Texas fan kind of knew that Sorrell had one of those positions locked down. The question was who was going to be the starter on the other side of the D line. And Colton Vasic's been getting most of the reps with the ones. He has been making things happen all throughout fall camp. Um, excuse me, Colton Vasek, Ethan Burke. I'm sorry. Ethan Burke has been doing all of those things that I just talked about. Colton Vasek has been progressing. He is going to be a part of the edge rotation this year. But the two starters, Baron Sorrell and Ethan Burke, I don't know if I said that. I don't know if I didn't say that. But no, by all accounts, Vasek is having a good camp. He made some things happen in that scrimmage on Saturday. So you can expect to see him at points throughout the course of this season. Any chance we get Kyle Umlang on for crazy stats against teams we play? Yeah, might make that happen. We might make that happen. That guy is a machine, man. I don't know where he gets all of that information and all of those numbers and statistics, but he's got a couple thousand stats for every team in college football. It's crazy. I don't know if that's that guy's job. I don't know if he has an actual job. It just does this on the side as a hobby. That guy is insane when it comes to the amount of content he puts out. He's one of the best Twitter trash talkers out there right now. Casey Studdard, yep. I think Casey Studdard's going to join Bucky and I as a guest next week. We've been in contact with him. I don't know if he's going to be a regular part of this channel. That guy's got a ton of stuff going on with the barbecue business, but Studdard will be making a few appearances on Texas Sports Unfiltered. You can bet your ass about that. And you talk about unfiltered. Having that guy on here with no need for a dump button. Hide your kids. Scary thought. Scary thought for some of you. Awesome thought for me. All right. What else, guys? We'll go for, I don't know, 15 more minutes or so. Keep answering as many questions as y'all have. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Supposed to put this up a while ago, but I think you guys have kind of figured out what's going on here. Shout out to all of our sponsors, by the way. You see them on your screen. Appreciate their support of Texas Sports Unfiltered. Audiovisual consultations, Altstat Beer, Woods Comfort Systems, Relax the Back, Centex Tickets, Top Gun, and 7-Eleven. Go support them because they're supporting us. And by supporting them, Transitive Property, I think that's what it is, you will be supporting us. We appreciate that. Okay, what else? What else? BK, never heard your take on the expansion of the playoffs from 4 to 12. Do I like it? Your ideal number of teams. I think I'd prefer 8 over 12, but I'm glad we're expanding beyond 4. I mean, I don't want this thing to turn into the NCAA basketball tournament, obviously. That thing is kind of a shit show. And as fun as it is, there's too many teams that make that every year. So I obviously don't want to be talking about 32 or 64 or 68, whatever the hell college hoops is at now. But I will not complain about more playoff football. Playoff football is the best football. NFL, college, high school, it does not matter. So you're telling me I get more playoff games? I'm not going to complain as much as some other people out there. I know there are some folks who are mad about the growth from 4 to 12. I know there are some folks who would be mad if they went from 4 to 6. I know there's some people who are mad that they went from 2 to 4 because, it quote unquote devalues the regular season. And I get that, right? Like, I can't argue against that. If you're going from 4 to 12, you obviously have more margin for error in the regular season, and you can lose 2 games. Like, we've never seen a 2-loss team make it to the 14 playoff. Obviously, didn't see 2-loss teams making it to the BCS championship game either. But nowadays, okay, when you go to 12, you're going to have a couple of 2-loss teams, and you might eventually see a 3-loss team finding their way into the playoffs. So, yes, that does devalue the regular season. I won't argue against that. I also think, like, we've seen it in the NFL playoffs before. Teams can get off the bad starts and then end up being the best team in the sport. Like, I remember the Packers when Aaron Rodgers won his only Super Bowl. Like, they snuck into the playoffs, man. They were 5-7. They ended the year on a 4-game win streak. They needed all of those wins to make the playoffs, and they were a 6 seed back when there were only 6 teams in each conference making it to the postseason. They went and won the freaking Super Bowl, and they were the best team. Like, they deserved it. It wasn't a fluke run. Like, they just turned it on at the right time, and they absolutely earned that Super Bowl. So, like, I think teams should be given the opportunity to do that. The college football historians, some of the real old school fans are like, no, the games that happen in September should count as the same as the games that happen in November. But I'm cool with it, man. More playoff football, chance for teams to figure things out and get better over the course of a year. I'd prefer 8. I don't know if I ever said that, but I will take 12 over 4. All right. What else? What else? Yeah, Kenny and Ziggy's is definitely a top 5 restaurant in Houston for me. That one, without a doubt, is on my list. Frenchies I have not had Trill Burgers yet. The line is just insane all of the time at that place. Oh my God. And like I was able to go to a couple of events through my job down here that had Trill Burgers there, but like they would just sell out before I even had a chance to get them. So I'll tough it out. I'll wait in line at some point. But dude, it's insane. I mean, they opened their brick and mortar spot a couple of months ago with Bun B and Nick Scurfield. Great dude. And just the popularity, it's been insane. Good for them. Frenchie's, yeah, Frenchie's awesome fried chicken. Been there a number of times. That's borderline top 5 for me too. As is Gus's, but they have Gus's in Austin, so you guys know all about that. All right, what else do y'all have? What else do y'all have? Over under 0.5 starts at Texas Malik Arch. Oh man. It's a tough question. Definitely am taking the over for Arch Manning. I think he's here for the long haul. Malik Murphy's interesting. Obviously, he could have left this offseason. He didn't, which makes me want to believe he's in it for the long haul. But if Arch Manning passes him up on the depth chart this season, and if Quinn Ewers leaves after this year, and it's clear that Arch Manning is going into next spring as QB1, excuse me, then maybe Malik Murphy leaves. Wow. Wow. I'm stumped. I'll take the over as well for Malik Murphy. Not quite sure how that's going to happen, but I will say it's going to happen. All right. Couple more minutes, guys. I got a few calls that I've got to make when we're done. My phone's been blowing up. Sorry if you've been hearing that. My voicemail is full. Okay. People still leave voicemails these days. That's the thing. Guess I got to clear out my voicemail. I don't even know what the recording on my voicemail sounds like. I probably haven't changed it since 8th grade. I don't know if I hit puberty at that point. I don't know if I've hit it now. Still working on it. First SEC title for Texas: basketball, football, or baseball? Wow. Another great question. Ma Texas or MA Texas, whoever you are, coming with the heat today. God, if Chris Beard was still the basketball coach, I would say basketball, and I wouldn't even think twice. But now Texas will have to go against Chris Beard because he's at Ole Miss. No slight to Rodney Terry. I don't have the confidence in Ronnie Terry that I did in Chris Beard. Obviously, the tournament run that he led Texas on last year, very impressive. The furthest Texas basketball had been in the Big Dance in a decade and a half. If the refs didn't have money on Miami in the Elite Eight, then it would have been Texas's deepest tournament run in 2 decades. And I will never get over that. Oh my God, I will never get over that, dude. I will be like 80 years old telling stories to somebody else's grandkids because I'm probably not having any myself. And I will be complaining about how Texas got hosed by the Zebras in Kansas City in the Elite Eight against Miami in 2023. I mean, that's bullshit, man. Oh my I'll say baseball. I will go with baseball. And I know the SEC is a monster league in baseball too, but I'm going to bank on the history and pageantry of Texas baseball being the most historic program in college baseball. I think they're already in a good spot, and I think they'll be fine making the move to the SEC. So I will go with baseball, basketball probably second, and football's third. That can change with a good year this year, but jury's still out. I've got that UTSD from the last 12 years. I haven't seen Sark win 10 games in a season yet. Nobody has. And, if you can't do that in the Big 12, how the hell are you going to do that in the SEC? And you're going to need to win double digit games to win that conference every year. So I'll go baseball, basketball, football. BK, why do people keep comparing? You guys can read. I'll just read this to myself. Yeah, look, you're always compared to your predecessor in any line of work, right? If you take a job as a sales guy somewhere and you're replacing somebody who left, you're going to be compared to that guy who was there before you in terms of how you perform, in terms of the results that you bring. That's how it goes, and it's magnified in coaching, really magnified in all sports. You see it with players too, but that's how it goes, man. Like people are going to compare what Sark did to Tom Herman. People compared what Tom Herman did to what Charlie Strong did. People compared what Charlie Strong did to what Mac Brown did. Like that's just how it's always going to be. So we're looking for something better than Tom Herman. Hopefully Sark makes it where there is no comparison and we get to a point where it's just, all right, this guy is clearly better as a recruiter, as a coach, as a developer, as everything. I don't want to be having to circle back to the Tom Herman era and having to debate who's the better coach and whose first 2 years were better and whose first 3 years were better. I don't want to do that. I want Sark to take this thing to a point where nobody brings up Tom Herman ever again. No disrespect to Tom Herman, but like that's just what I want. I don't want to have to keep comparing coaches to predecessors. I want Sark to have a Mac Brown type run in Austin, where we don't have to talk about coaching changes for a long, long time because that was glorious. More talent in Houston or Austin? If you're talking about ladies, it's Austin. It's Austin. Plenty of talent down here in Houston, but I'm going with Austin. If you're talking about, I don't know what else you'd be talking about. I think that's it right there. I think that's it right there. Will Savion Red be a Swiss Army knife for Sark when he comes back from injury? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how Savion Red's going to be used in this offense, right? There's just so many talented bodies on this Texas offense right now that, like, yeah, I think Savion Red could be, but you also have Keelan Robinson, who's kind of your Swiss Army knife right now. And that guy knows the system. He's been with Sark forever. I think he's going to get more run than Savion Red will get this year. I think Jonathan Brooks and CJ Baxter are sort of your 1-2 punch as guys getting the majority of the carries for Texas in the run game. But hopefully they can find a role for Savion Red. Sark's spoken pretty highly of him. We saw some of it in the spring game. And yeah, Sark has spoken highly of him throughout the offseason in the spring and the fall. So hopefully they can find a role for Savion Red this year. If not this year, I think definitely next year he'll be a part of things. But Texas has options, man. I'm telling you. Not going to sit here and make it sound like it's going to be easy to replace Bijan or Rojo, but they've got enough cooks in the kitchen, so to speak, to where there shouldn't be too much of a drop off in run game production and just production from the running backs in general. All right, couple more questions here, guys. Appreciate y'all hopping on such short notice. Once again, subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. Please like this video if you haven't yet, and spread the word. Tell everyone you know to tell everyone they know about Texas Sports Unfiltered. How many different starters do you think Texas will have when comparing? Oh man, that's a tough question to answer, John. I mean, obviously injuries will play a factor in that. You hope they don't, but that's injuries happen over the course of a long season. Guys are going to get hurt, so that's going to increase the number of starters that Texas has in 2023. In terms of guys getting benched, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what the starting lineup is going to look like week one against Rice. Like, if Anthony Hill isn't a starter in week one, I think at some point he will take over a starting role for this defense. It sounds like Malik Muhammad is fighting for a starting spot. If he isn't a starter in week one, then I think at some point over the course of the season he will be. Um, Alfred Collins could be in that mix, right? Tamondre Sweat, Byron Murphy, the two projected starters at D tackle. Alfred Collins, Sark raved about him yesterday at his media availability. If he actually puts it together, then okay, he could find his way into the starting lineup. The receiver rotation could change. Obviously, that would impact the total number of starters. Basically, I'm saying I don't know, John. I don't know. Tough question to answer, but I do think there are guys, especially the young guys, who might not technically be starters on the first series against Rice in a couple of weeks, but they will get to start some games or at least get significant playing time over the course of the 12 games. So hopefully that's not the shittiest answer to a question of all time. Might have been. Might have been. All right. I think that's it. Thank you guys for hopping on. This has been a lot of fun. We'll do a few more of these. We'll get Kevin and Trey and Bucky and Wags to be a part of some of these AMAs as well. But yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by and appreciate all of the love for Texas Sports Unfiltered. A couple of these calls I'm about to make have something to do with the future of Texas Sports Unfiltered. So keep subscribing. Keep subscribing. That's stupid. Keep subscribed to the channel. I'm tired. Clearly, I'm out of stuff to say. I'm leaving. Thank you all for watching. See y'all tomorrow morning. Bucky and BK, 8 to 10. Trey and BK tomorrow from 12 to 1. Thank you all for the continued love and the continued support. Until next time, y'all stay safe. Y'all stay healthy.